welcome back to a brand new video. And of course today, as you can tell, we're doing the Utah Jazz 2018 offseason predictions. As I'm recording this, the Utah Jazz are actually playing the Houston Rockets right now. I'm going to assume they lose tonight just because they're playing in Houston, so that's going to be a big factor in my prediction of that. Even if they don't lose, they're probably going to lose the series anyway, so then I can upload this whenever, because, you know, Utah definitely overachieved. We definitely did not even, a lot of us didn't even have this team making the playoffs, so definitely overachieved, and they beat the Thunder in the first round. So, out of that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into this offseason rebuild. So, let's see what we can do with this Utah Jazz team this offseason. What makes sense? A lot of people have been talking about they just need one more superstar, and this team can maybe jump over a mount or a hill or whatever, however you want to say it. And the Jazz, I believe, don't have their pick because they traded it to the Timberwolves, but it says we have the 9th pick, which I'm not really sure what to do about that, because I believe they traded their pick to the Timberwolves so they get Ricky Rubio. So what I'm going to do is just trade this 9th pick to a lottery, like to a team that's actually in the lottery, because obviously the Jazz aren't going to have a very good pick, and I'm pretty damn sure they don't even have a pick in this year's draft because they traded it away. So I'm going to trade this 9th pick away, and I'm just going to give it to what team makes the most sense? I mean, maybe the Hornets. What do they got? The Hornets, they got the 10th pick. Magic, the Nets have the 26th. I don't know what to do with this pick. I'm just going to give it, no. I could have swore the Timberwolves had the Jazz pick. I'm just going to give it to the Timberwolves because it's their pick. Whatever. So 9th pick, whatever. They agree. All right. So now we don't have our pick. I could be wrong about that, guys, but I'm pretty darn sure that the Jazz do not own their pick this year. But other than that, guys, like I said, a lot of people have been talking about how the Utah Jazz need one more player, and this team could potentially be competing for years to come. And I actually do agree with that. This team actually is pretty darn good. It's a very nice roster. They just have to make some moves here and there, and bam, this team might actually be competing for a maybe not a championship, but definitely compete for the top seeds in the Western Conference. They were almost the 3rd seed. The Blazers were the 3rd seed, but who knows? I mean, they were really close. So anyway, let's look at the roster, see how it's looking. So we got Alec Burks on a 1-year deal, Ricky Rubio on a 1-year deal, and you got Joe Ingles locked up. Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell. I absolutely do not expect any of these guys that are currently on the roster to be traded. I think they will keep their core just like this. A big decision the Jazz will have to make is with Derek Favors. What do they want to do with Derek Favors? Dante Exum, I expect them to let Dante Exum walk because I just don't see the point of trying to bring him back. I mean, do you really need to bring him back? I don't think so. He's okay and all, but, you know, let him go find a new, fresh opportunity. Yes, he was nice off the bench for a while, but I don't think I'm going to bring back Derek Favors because he doesn't really fit what the Jazz need. If he wanted, you know, if he wanted some cheaper money, then I would bring him back, but he asked for a lot of money in the offseason, so I'm going to go ahead and just renounce all these guys. Drebko would be a nice bring back. Royce O'Neal would be nice to bring back, of course, but he's not going to be, so I'm just going to get all my money real quick. And now we have 25 mil in cap space going into the offseason, so it's going to be good for us, definitely. A lot of these bench players are walking, but we can retool a little bit, and I expect the Raptors, or not the Raptors, the Jazz, to be able to retool. Quinn Snyder is a great head coach, not going to worry about that. Like I said, I believe the Jazz don't have their draft picks, so I'm going to move on from that. But, man, did the Jazz overachieve this year. It's absolutely insane. No one expected them to even be in the playoffs. And I, for one, didn't even expect them to get past the Thunder. I thought for sure the Thunder would beat them in like 6 or 5 or 7. And what do you know? The Jazz came out on top. So, pretty crazy how the NBA works sometimes. But, like I said, let's look at this Jazz team. Rubio, Donovan Mitchell, Alec Burks, Joe Ingles, Jay Crowder, Rudy Gobert, and Tony Bradley. So what I think this team should really be looking for this offseason is a stretch big next to Rudy Gobert. And I think Jay Crowder is great off the bench. Joe Ingles can still start. I mean, these players are both good perimeter defenders. You can have one of them come off the bench, or you can even have Jay Crowder start the power forward. The Cavs did that for a while. That's up to if the Jazz really want to do something like that. But definitely think that the Jazz should be looking for a power forward in the offseason to, you know, maybe get a stretch big. A guy that can stretch the floor just to make life a little bit easier for everyone else on the floor. So maybe a guy like Ersan Ilyasova wouldn't be too bad of an addition. He could start at the power forward position, can make them threes. Michael Beasley wouldn't be too bad either. You just need some kind of stretch big. Well, let's see what we got. Jonas Jerebko is out here. Bahamute. David West, Mike Scott. You don't want anyone that's too old, and you want someone that can still feel like you still can start. So Davis Bertans, that's actually an interesting one. A B, Davis Bertans, he's a restricted free agent. I'm going to go ahead and actually throw him an offer to maybe even come off our bench. So let's go $3 million for 3 years. Let's give him a $3 million 3-year deal. All right, so let's do that. And then what else do we got? So now we need a backup point guard as well, since we're going to let Dante Exum walk. How much does this man want? I wouldn't mind bringing him back. Actually, that's not bad to bring back Dante Exum. So let's go 6.85 mil for Dante Exum. Let's throw him an offer as well. And then for the starting power forward position, as much as I'd love to grab Jabari Parker or something crazy like that, which I could see them throwing an offer at Jabari Parker, and maybe the Bucks won't match, but I have a feeling the Bucks would match. And then let's look at the center position just in case there's anyone I can move to power forward here that could stretch the floor. Not seeing anyone. JaVale McGee, Kyle Quinn, not much of anyone. But power forwards, like I said, you get Derek Favors back, but 21 mil is just a lot for Derek Favors. He just doesn't fit that role that you want a guy to be able to shoot threes. He is obviously not a 3-shooter. He'll be great off the bench, but if he wants that much money, it's just not worth it. Michael Beasley is an intriguing option, definitely, but I think Ersan is a guy I could definitely see the Jazz getting for, yeah, a 1 year, maybe even 2 years. Like, let's go ahead and throw Ersan a deal, and let's see what that's looking like. So now we got Davis Bertans and Dante Exum. Hopefully the Spurs don't match, and he goes to the Wizards, and we get Davis Bertans and Dante Exum. So not bad. Now, we didn't get Ersan Ilyasova, which is unfortunate, but we get Dante Exum back, and we get Davis Bertans, who could obviously start if we want him to, which I wouldn't mind, but I would rather have a better starting power forward than that. I mean, you can bring back Jonas Jerebko. He can shoot the 3 ball, obviously. B, you could start him. Do you really want to, though? No, not really. I think Michael Beasley is another intriguing option. I could also see him going back to the Knicks, though. But if you're going to go after Michael Beasley, I would give him about maybe a 1-year deal, 2 years maybe. I'm going to give him a 1-year deal, though, just because it's Michael Beasley. You know, he hasn't had the best past when it comes to drugs and everything. But other than that, let's see if he accepts that 1-year deal. He does, so we get Michael Beasley. So Davis Bertans, Dante Exum, Michael Beasley. Now, this is something that could be realistic for the Jazz this offseason. They could go out and grab some nice bench pieces. There's no one too crazy to grab in the offseason. I mean, they could grab Julius Randle, but he just doesn't fit that modern role. You want a guy to be able to shoot the 3 ball. Like, I mean, look how good the Pelicans were in the first round against the Portland Trailblazers. Yes, it was the Blazers, but Nikola Mirotic next to Anthony Davis just made all the sense in the world, and I absolutely applause the Pelicans for being able to make a trade to get Nikola Mirotic, because that absolutely makes sense. So it's just something like that you want to see from all the other NBA teams. But I mean, I think we still might have some cap space left. I'm not really sure. So let's just go ahead and simulate this last moratorium day just to make sure we get all 3 of these guys here. And then now when you look at we got 1.33 million in cap space, so not much to do. So Ricky Rubio is on a 1-year deal. He's got 1 year left on his contract. Alec Burks does as well. Joe Ingles is on a multi-year deal. Donovan Mitchell, of course, is the future of this team. Michael Beasley, you signed him to a 1-year deal. So not a bad team whatsoever. We got 10 active players, maybe 9 in rotation right now. I guess another guy I could see the Jazz potentially getting this offseason is Tyreke Evans. Maybe move him to the small 4 position. I don't know. You could do something like that. Have Jay Crowder start the power forward or whatever you want to do. But I think it's something the Jazz could possibly do this offseason, is just get a little bit better. I don't see them getting absolutely crazy better, but I think they definitely can get a little bit better this offseason. But I think that's what I'm going to do, guys. I think I'm going to leave it at that. I think this team, I mean, it's not too bad of upgrades. Of course, you want to see the Jazz do a little bit better in the offseason, but I did my best, and I think that we're going to go ahead, or I say my best trying to stay realistic. I think we're going to go ahead and simulate the player progression. I'll see you guys at the rotation. All right, guys, so at the rotation, we got Ricky Rubio, Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles, Michael Beasley, Rudy Gobert, Jay Crowder, Alec Burks, Davis Bertans, and Dante Exum, and Rodney McGruder as well. But I'm going to go ahead and just run a 9-man rotation and leave it at that. So Dante Exum is going to be the last guy off the bench. So not a bad team at all by any means. Of course, it's not a championship team quite yet, but there wasn't a lot the Jazz could have went after, and that would have made a lot of sense. I mean, they could have easily replaced Rubio, but I think Rubio fit well with this Jazz team, so they could obviously have him start at point guard next year. They got Joe Ingles still, who is a great 3-and-D guy. You got Michael Beasley now, and maybe you sign a guy like him. Just a guy that can stretch the floor is what you would really want for the Jazz, which I think it's something they should look for. They could obviously re-sign Derek Favors if they want, but I just don't see that happening. Jay Crowder, 6-man off the bench. Alec Burks, Davis Bertans, Dante Exum. Not a bad team by any means. Is this a necessary situation where I should stop the trade deadline? I don't think so. There's no one really I would look to trade. Maybe we can, upgrade the team a little bit at the trade deadline, so it might stop there. But of course, Donovan Mitchell is your first scoring option. Other than that, I'm just going to leave it, and let's see how everyone does. I'm going to go and simulate to the end of the season, see how this Jazz team does after losing to the Rockets. Welcome to the question today part of the video where I answer you guys' questions from the previous video. So if you want me to answer your question, leave it down in the comment section below this video, and I'll be answering it in the very next video. So let's see what we got. Should the Raptors trade DeRozan or Lowry? Darnell Alexander asks. Well, I think they should trade Lowry, but I think they would get more trading DeMar DeRozan. So that's my answer there. Do you think this team could beat the Warriors, Lakers, Nets? Ask Lonzo, PG, Ingram, LeBron, Randall with Kuzma and Hart off the bench. LeBron and PG, Lonzo. I think there's potential there to beat the Warriors. Yes, so I'm going to say, yeah, that's a possibility. Can the Philadelphia 76ers win Game 5 versus Boston Celtics in the TD Garden? If you guys did not know, the Celtics have not lost a single playoff game at home so far this postseason, but I do believe the Sixers can get it done somehow. I think if there was a chance for any team to ever come down 3-0, it would be the Philadelphia 76ers. I just have that gut feeling. I don't know why, but it's probably most likely not going to happen. What do you want to see, Rockets versus Cavs or Warriors versus Cavs? Rockets versus Cavs, definitely. I don't want to see another Warriors versus Cavs. And then, is Terry Rozier could average 20 points per game on another team or a trash team? Yeah, I think he could. But then again, there's that Brad Stevens effect. But thank you guys so much for the questions. If you guys want me to answer you guys' questions, like I said, leave them down, and I'll answer them in the next video. But go ahead and enjoy the rest of the video, guys. I appreciate you all. All right, guys, so this is something that's not really been talked about before, but I started to get to thinking. The Mavericks are obviously in a rebuild stage, and Harrison Barnes isn't getting any younger. Yes, he's 26 right now. He has 2 years left on his contract. He has a 1 year, and then he has a player option. And then, when you think about it, could the Mavericks actually get something for Harrison Barnes? Because who knows, man? When the Mavericks are ready to finally compete, is Harrison Barnes really going to be still there, still the guy they want him to be? Probably not. A team that could use him now is the Utah Jazz. And I've never really thought about this before until now, but I wanted to get a nice wing to play next to Donovan Mitchell. And Harrison Barnes would be intriguing. And I thought a trade like this could maybe make sense. Alex Burks is on a 1-year deal. Michael Beasley, just for salary reasons, throw him in there as well. Tony Bradley, and then you got a second-round pick, and Doug McDermott, Jason Smith, and Harrison Barnes. Let's see if they'll take this. Tony Bradley is a nice young center, 21 years old. We obviously have Rudy Gobert, so there's no reason that Tony Bradley should be getting any minutes anytime soon. Maybe the Mavericks could use him, be their starting center of the future, or something like that. Give him a nice opportunity there in Dallas. Let's see if they'll take this. Oh, I didn't realize. Okay, that just kind of ruined everything. But Doug McDermott declines this. So maybe not Doug McDermott. Maybe throw this guy in there. Let's see if they'll take this. They're obviously not going to take it. One of the assets. All right, so let's see if we can give it. Maybe give them a future 2020 pick, and then let's see if they take it now. And they do agree. Maybe I disagree with getting rid of the first rounder for Harrison Barnes, but nonetheless, you do get Harrison Barnes on the Utah Jazz team paired next to Donovan Mitchell, which that is not a bad idea at all. Does it make sense? I think it does, but will it happen? I'm not sure, because there's not been any rumors about Harrison Barnes, but he has a nice score to go along Donovan Mitchell. He should be able to put up more numbers than 14 points per game, I hope, going down the stretch for us. But let's see what the rotation will look like now. So now we got Rubio, Donovan Mitchell, Harrison Barnes, Davis Bertans, Rudy Gobert, Joe Ingles, Jay Crowder, Dante Exum, and Roddy Magruder all coming off the bench. Are we missing anyone? No. So Roddy Magruder is stepping up and getting minutes now, because we traded Alec Burks away, so we traded one of our starting shooting guards, of course. So I'm okay with Roddy Magruder stepping up in the rotation. Just making sure there's no one else down there. All right, and then Do I want to start Davis Bertans at power forward, or do I want to throw Jay Crowder in there for defense? I mean, I would love to start Jay Crowder, so I think I might actually do this. So I think I actually might throw Jay Crowder at the power forward position and make Davis Bertans come off the bench. And then let's go 28 small ball lineup. We got Rubio, Donovan Mitchell, Harrison Barnes, Jay Crowder, Rudy Gobert, Joe Ingles. So very great rotation. And I'm going to have Harrison Barnes as that second option to Donovan Mitchell. So let's see how this team does now. We are, we are 1 game back out of the playoffs. So I think we should be able to make it in, hopefully, now that we have Harrison Barnes with us. At the end of the season, LeBron James is your MVP. This is probably the same stuff. Michael Porter Jr., 6-man. Defensive player of the year actually goes to Rudy Gobert, so that's cool. And Jordan Bell, Steve Kerr. Same stuff as usual. Do we have anybody on an all-NBA team? That'd be awesome if we could get Donovan Mitchell, but we do not. All defensive first team. Don't see anyone besides Rudy Gobert, and then, of course, no one on there. All rookie first team. We didn't have any rookies, so not really looking for any there. Jacob Wiley. Why does he look so... Who is Jacob Wiley? Who is Jacob Wiley? That is a good question. I have no idea who that is, but I just saw his picture and it looks so real compared to the rest of these guys. So interesting, I guess. But 39 and 43 for the Utah Jazz. We did make it in as a 7th seed, which is, I think, fair to say for the Utah Jazz, a team that could be the 7th seed next year. I could even see them missing the playoffs next year, but I hope they don't. I think they are a team that needs to stay competitive, but I think the Jazz could get in easily. And of course, luckily, or unfortunately for the Utah Jazz, they meet the Houston Rockets again, who they're actually playing right now, and we get eliminated in 6. So unfortunately, that is the fate for the Utah Jazz this season. But thank you guys so much for watching. You guys' support means the world to me. It absolutely makes my day every day, guys. But this is Crushables. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'm saying peace.